Just like any other genre, research articles share a generalizable style. This style, or a variation thereof, is used by researchers presenting their work because the research process follows typically a universal set of steps. In this video, I show the major components of a research article, so you have a good idea of what to expect when you need to read one yourself. Here's an article I found in PsycArticles. This article looks pretty typical of what you'll find in this database. Let's take a look at the different sections and discuss what each entails. On the first page of any research article, you'll find the citation information, including what journal published the article and what year it was published. You'll also find the title of the article and the author or authors' names, along with their medical, academic, or business affiliation. After this, you'll find the abstract, typically written by the authors themselves of the article. The abstract is typically 1 to 2 paragraphs long, and it provides a full overview of the research that was done that is going to be described in the full article itself. After the abstract, typically you'll then find an introduction. First, it typically cites earlier and foundational research on a topic to add context to the current study. No researcher is doing their research completely within a vacuum. They have always read earlier or foundational research on the same topic, and that is typically how they get to the point where they want to perform a certain type of research going forward or do a certain type of study. So in this introduction, this is where that information comes out. The introduction also provides a justification for the current study, why the authors of the study believe that it's useful and adds to the scholarly content of this topic. And finally, the introduction outlines the purpose of the research itself. In the article that I've found here that I'm actually showing, there is no literature review as such, but that doesn't mean that there actually isn't a literature review. It is just done within the introduction. Some authors do incorporate their literature review into a longer introduction like this one. In other instances, though, you will find a separate section is used. After the context and foundation for the study that the authors are reporting on is provided, then we get straight into a method or methodology section. The methods section is typically separated out into parts and provides information on who are the study participants, how they were picked, what test, instrument, assessment, or survey was used, and how the results that were pulled from this test instrument or assessment was analyzed after the fact. The methods section automatically leads into a results section. In this area, you're going to see a very detailed list of the findings based on the assessment style that was described in the methods section. Typically in this area, you're going to also see charts or graphs to visually depict the data that was found. The data here is generally going to be in pretty specific numbers or percentages, and it's kind of just the straight facts being given to you at this point. The article, though, does not end at the results, because what needs to happen next is a contextualization of those results within the previous literature and to the future of the research that could be done. So that's where we get into the discussion section. The discussion section is usually a bit more conversational than the previous sections, and it, as I said, contextualizes the results. It brings back some of that literature that was reviewed at the beginning, either in the introduction or in the literature review. It also describes why these findings may or may not be of importance. It provides some limitations of the research, and with those limitations offers options for future research. At the end of every peer-reviewed journal article, you will find a pretty long section called references. The references that you find are the citations for each source mentioned in the paper, both in the literature review and in the discussion section. What these researchers have essentially done for you is created a list of more articles that could be useful for your own research going forward. If you find an article that you think is actually very helpful for your own research, don't ignore those references. They allow you to expand beyond this one article to more that are of the same type and provide a larger context for the research or the topic that you're doing. So when doing research in the field of psychology, it's likely every research article that you run across will have a very similar look and feel as this one. Understanding how to read this type of genre is helpful because it allows you to more quickly go through each article that you find to see if it is going to help you in your own research project. As always, if you do need help finding articles such as this one, please don't hesitate to contact the BSU Library, and we're here to help you out.